Hey guys, Mike here. So obviously I did a video yesterday talking about, Jerome Powell and what's going to happen Wednesday and all this other stuff. And, people are throwing around 75 basis point hikes and stuff like that. And that's what the market's trying to price in. And what I missed was some breaking news that happened while I was sitting in front of this camera. And so here's what I missed if you hadn't seen it yet real quick.
Big story of this late day, and that is the Wall Street Journal scoop. About an hour ago, that the Fed is considering a 75 basis point rate hike this week. Let's bring in the reporter who broke that story. Nick Timiraos of the Wall Street Journal is with me now. Thank you so much, very much for being with me. This was, in fact, a market-moving story. Tell me more.
Well, thanks for having me, Scott. It looked a week ago like the debate at this meeting was going to be about, whether Chair Powell would signal 50 basis points for September versus 25. Obviously, the inflation data on Friday, the University of Michigan expectations report, the New York Fed had an inflation expectations report this morning. Those were negative. Those were not what the Fed wanted to see. And so now you do have a debate this week about whether it's going to be 50 or 75 basis points. And we just reported that, 75 basis points looks like a more likely and more live option than it did just a couple of days ago because of that inflation data.
And so, obviously, that might change the scenario. I personally am still going with 50 basis points, and he's going to say 75 basis points for July or September and all that good stuff. That's just where I'm going until they change their behavior. We'll see. But it is funny they leaked that story out there, supposedly, and now it's everywhere. And so the market, obviously, that's what the big sell-off was happening as I was recording this video yesterday, which I didn't know about until it was over. And so, we'll see what happens. If that's a way of letting the market know they're not surprised, then we'll see. Here's what's crazy, though. This is what I feel, and I could be totally wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments and where you fall out on this. I feel like by them doing this and how they've handled this whole thing so far, going all the way back to last year to now, that they've done one of the worst things you can do, and they've created groups out there, like different camps, right? The one camp is they're already gone out of the market. They're out. They got out a long time ago, said, I don't trust the Fed. They have no credibility, and I'm just out of here because they're going to crash the market, and I'm going to save my capital. And so they kind of, took their toys and went home. The other two camps, really have the ending in sight to be the same, right? They're predicting the same ending, just in two different ways, right? And so tomorrow you hear people today talking about this. Well, they got to. This is the second camp. They got to do 75 basis points. If they don't raise rates faster, they're never going to get ahead of inflation, and they're going to put us in stagflation and a recession and all that good stuff, right? If they don't do it fast enough. And so if they don't do 75 basis points tomorrow or start upping even faster, well, I'm out too. And when I say groups, by the way, I mean hedge fund managers, millionaires, billionaires, not us. We can't move markets. We don't own anywhere near enough. But these guys can, right? And so you got these big groups. The third group is saying, well, no. If they do 75 basis points tomorrow, my God, they're hiking too fast, and they're going to put us in a recession, right? And so if they do 75 tomorrow, I'm out of here because I know what the end of the movie looks like, right? And so that's kind of what as I'm just listening to, seeing all these articles, everybody on the news talking, and it's just, there's like these camps have just been formed. And so let me know what camp you fall in, or if you think there are camps, but I seriously am seeing a lot of it over the last 3 days, and I'm like, interesting. But when you look at what they're talking about, what's going to be the end deal, it's a recession, stagflation, it's nothing good, right? It's nothing good, okay? And so it's like, that's interesting. So it's almost like whether they raise 75 basis points tomorrow or go 50 and then 75 next, it's almost like the market's just going to be in this tug of war between these big groups, right? They're just sitting there in the first group, they're on the sideline anyway going, whatever, I'm waiting, and so tomorrow's going to be definitely interesting. But what's even crazier is have we been set up as retail investors? Because I know some people, like I didn't sell any stocks. I had a swing trade I was up on, got greedy, ended up losing some money on that, but to be transparent about that. But as far as like just individual stocks, I didn't sell anything. Because understand, the S&P doesn't go below 20% very often. I believe it's 6 times in the last 22 years, I believe. I mean, if you think .com, 08, 2011, 2018, 2020, and now. I believe that's correct. I could be wrong. But so it rarely happens, right, that the S&P goes below 20% because it represents the overall market. And so when it does, that's why people say it's a pretty good opportunity for everybody because you don't get it very often. Okay, that don't mean it ain't gonna go a whole lot lower at all. I mean, as I've showed on many videos, it can go a lot lower. Okay, but the crazy part is when I'm looking at these charts here, it's like the market, when I'm looking at just the TA itself, is setting up for some kind of rally. It has sold us off so much in the last 3 days, and this has happened before. We've seen this, but look at the charts here. Look what's, I guess if you want to look at the positive thing, if you're looking for a bounce, so to speak, in the upside. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you get something out of this. As you can see right here on the S&P, what are we at? We're right there at the bottom of the channel. Right there. We bounced off it 4 different times, right? In the last, what, 5.5 months, 6 months? And so, and then look above, huge gaps to fill, right? Which they love to fill gaps, and right above the support line, which goes way back over here, okay? Then you got the S&P. When you look at the weekly, look at the RSI. This rarely happens now. Look at this. It's oversold once. It's almost hitting it again, which if it sells off a little bit tomorrow, it'll hit it, right? There, 2020, it does it. 2018, it does it. And I'm going to do a more detailed video on this because I've done a lot of digging on this right here. And you got to go all the way back here to 2011. Then you got 2008. It did it maybe 2 or 3 times right there in a very short brief of time. And then you got the dot-com bubble. You see it multiple times there. And so on the weekly, it doesn't get in that range very often on the RSI. But we've been there once, and then we're right above it right now. And then you got the VIX. Right there at 35, it bounced off, sold off of a little bit today. But between 34, 37, that's where it likes to go down. And when it drops, obviously that means the S&P is coming up, and so the S&P rises. And so I'm looking at this, and I'm trust me, I'm no TA expert at all, but I'm just saying when you look at that, it's like, wow, have they set retail investors up to panic sell out of their positions once again, right? So they can get them cheaper, and then start doing these crazy rallies, which we've seen a couple of times this year when it bounces off the bottom of the channel or a support line or Fibonacci level, whatever, when it has absolutely no business doing it, which it would have no business doing it tomorrow if that were to happen. But we've seen this game before, right? We've seen the movie. We know how it ends, blah, blah, blah. And it should be nothing but a bear market rally if that happened. But I just saw that today, and I was like, and the reason I bring that up more than anything else, I ain't telling you to trade this or anything. God knows. It is because I've had people email me, hit me on the Discord, other places, and they're saying, man, they either got into some kind of swing position or just talking about the regular stock, like should they sell out now? What's happening? And it's one of those things where I'm like, do your thing, do what you got to do, obviously. But they always say sell into strength, not fear, right? And so because when that fear happens, and we've had a lot of the last 3 days, and all the panic selling setting in, everybody selling out, and then as soon as you sell, what happens? The market turns, and you can get a huge rally up. Not saying it's going to go above the channel and start going up, but it gives you a better chance if you really want to get out of the position to get out at a much higher level than now after you see all this red. And that's just rule of thumb. How many times have you sold a stock when everything was going bad, and then like 2 days later you see this huge turn, right? Go up 5, 10, 15% in the market. The stocks go even higher than that. And then, of course, they turn over again. But, it's like I'd rather sell up there than down here. I'm not saying we can't go lower. And that's why I say watch the channel. If we break down through that channel, break down through that support line, obviously we know what's going on, right? We know what time it is. Because, yeah, does the market have any business going up tomorrow? I don't see one, honestly. But again, the market's irrational. Always has been. You've seen it this year already, how irrational it really can be, okay? It's controlled by the algorithm. So if the algorithm is like what's going on tomorrow, we hit some key level, then boom, you can see it, right? How many times have I showed you videos of when Jerome Powell speaks on the 1-minute chart sped up, right? And just doing this right here. And believe it or not, there actually are programmed algorithms for when he speaks, right? To listen for certain words or something like that, keywords or phrases or something. And that's how they trade it. The trading right now is that's creating a lot of volatility, but it's the algorithms doing it. And so, yeah, and I'll try to, I don't know if I'll be able to do it tomorrow, but when he speaks, I'll try to record again to see what happens. We'll see if I'm able to do that or not. But just want to put that out to you, make the correction from yesterday's video so you can swing your opinion either way. None of our opinions matter either way. But, you can make financial decisions on that if you like. And also for those who've been reaching out to me about panic selling out or just selling out because you just can't take it anymore or you're down huge or whatever it is, that's up to you. But again, look at the charts, see what happens. Again, what's one more day? That's kind of how I look at it. If you're back in the corner, but always do what's best for you, what's best for your family, and what nobody else tells you to do, okay? So anyway, hope you got some out of it. Hit the like, subscribe button if you did, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, which will be a super fun day. See you later.